Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Harakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone and rule well. And shalom to the brothers in the wax. Truth. Um, yeah, find it interesting. There was this article on Turkey basically looking to join the BRICS. And I think either today as well, maybe the day before, Mongolia got invited to it as well. And Algeria. I think Algeria applied for it a few days back, maybe like 3 or 4 days back, something like that. So it's something it's been expanding for a hot minute, like in the space of like the last year, maybe even less, like 6 months, 9 months, something like that range. But yeah, that's like the last year anyway. In that kind of range, it's been expanding to where, and it's always in the news. But then the kind of viewpoint of the West is still like they're not really worth the time, the consideration, or whatever it is. Like they're a serious economic interest or matter. But then again, it's something that's always covered, and it's always put in contrast to the West, because you have the Western alliances, you have economies built around the the US, Europe, and then you have the BRICS, where it goes out to China, Russia, and nations getting in the mix over there. So this is on MSN from Bloomberg. It says Turkey bids to join BRICS in push to build alliances beyond West. So it says Turkey is formally asked to join the BRICS group of emerging market nations as it seeks to bolster its global influence and forge new ties beyond its traditional Western allies. According to people familiar with the matter, the view of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's administration is that the geopolitical center of gravity is shifting away from developed economies, according to the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they aren't authorized to comment. The country's new diplomatic push. Just pause that. Let's see. Okay, it's just music. To comment. So the country's new diplomatic push reflects its aspiration to cultivate ties with all sides in a multipolar world, while still fulfilling its obligations as a key member of the of NATO. So yeah, it's essentially Turkey's keeping a toe in both sides of the pool. As the saying goes, they're joining both, and it's because it's in that position where both countries, both of those alliances, NATO and the BRICS, want Turkey to be part of it, and it's kind of always been that kind of middle ground. Because I can't remember if they're in. I think they might be in the EU. No, it's still trying to join. So straddling Europe and Asia, Turkey submitted an application to join BRICS some months ago, amid frustration over a lack of progress in its decades-old bid to join the EU. So yeah, it's been waiting to join the EU. So and that's the thing is these issues kind of come down to, it's all politics. It's just Game of Thrones, man. It's about power, money, influence, and that's kind of the mindset, of the rulers. You have these nations basically trying to come up, and then really the ones that truly hold power, above these guys, it's all it's all a what's the word, um a show that's being put on. It's like a play, and that's what, gets everyone drawn in, invested. And that as well is you see with in even well, I start because the US is a key spot that matters. With the US, the presidential campaigns and whatnot, that's just entertainment, distraction. Everyone's going to be drawn into everything that happens. If you can look back at like the last two, like 2016, 2020 elections, there was a huge scope of people looking at people super invested. But then it's like when it comes down to it, it comes to pass, then they get into power. It's like, how much of a shift is there? How much of a change is there? And it's like not much, because they're working towards those same key agendas, which is what, MOTB is the key one, man. That micro C hit. These are the things that are really being worked towards. But everyone's thinking about, oh, what are you gonna do about healthcare, about these different wars, the economy, jobs, their day-to-day cares. That's what they're thinking about. But then those things, it's like when you clean the room and then you fold something up and you put it on one surface and you think, I don't know what to do with it, and then you put it back on over there on the bed and you think, not sure. And you put it over on the top of the chest of drawers. It's just everything's being shuffled around, so it appears different, but then it's still just kind of key issues are not being addressed, and people don't really, they don't really look at these things. But with the BRICS, it shows that Western hegemony, a Western foundation of power is faltering, and then the elites are thinking it's going to be to their benefit, because they crumble this current system, then establish something secure. They're thinking of establishing their NWO, that New World Order, for all time. But really it's something that's crumbling, and they're going to be able to build certain aspects of it, but then it's not going to come to its fullness. Because why? The king, it's the kingdom that comes next. So the bid is also partly a result of risks with fellow NATO members after Turkey maintained close links with Russia following its invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The People added, Turkey's foreign ministry and presidency declined to comment. Turkey can become a strong, prosperous, prestigious and effective country if it improves its relations with the East and West simultaneously, Erdogan said in Istanbul over the weekend. Any method other than this will not benefit Turkey, but will harm it. The BRICS grouping, named after Brazil, Russia, India, and China and South Africa, includes some of the biggest emerging economies. It got 4 new members at the start of the year when Iran, the UAE, Ethiopia, and Egypt joined. It's ranked. Saudi Arabia was invited to join, though the kingdom is yet to do that. The group's further enlargement could be discussed during a summit in Kazan, Russia, from October 22 to 24, said the People. Malaysia, Thailand, and Turkey's close allies Azerbaijan are among other countries looking to join. So yeah, you basically have had that building. It's been a essentially a counter kind of force or seat of like they're trying to grow their influence to the same level as the West, but based off, built around China and Russia. The thing, well, and that's the thing is, well, okay, so it says the BRICS touts itself as an alternative taught its members see as a Western dominated institutions such as the World Bank and IMF. New members can potentially get access to financing for its development bank, as well as broadening their political and trading relationships. And yeah, the IMF and the World Bank has been a big aspect of how the West has basically been able to amass power to itself, bind people to like the dollar as a reserve currency, and get them under the influence of utilizing Western systems, because why, it's like they get them loans from the World Bank and whatnot, and then they'll start having to operate utilizing those dollars and having to trade and do business with people that fuck with dollars. And then even for them, a lot of these countries will have like, you can kind of use dollars on just is as a currency as well. When you're out like buying stuff, you can be out, and a lot of places will take dollars as well as taking whatever the currency of the place is. So they're kind of trying to counteract that, and that feeds into these that conflict being built, where that that third world war is going to take place. Because why, it's being stoked. Going to Revelation, it says the kings of the earth, those that are bound under the beast, they give their strength onto it for a season, because the Spirit's been putting them to do that. But then it's going to be taken off them, and what, you're going to have all that so-called incorruptible, unchallengeable a bulk of power that the West is, as far as people are looking at it now. That's going to cease to be. Jeremiah 51:7 says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of our wine, therefore the nations are mad. And yeah, all these nations are drunk on on that wine from Babylon, that American wine. And then even with what do you call it, like Turkey, they're saying like they want to fuck with the West and East. They just see they see where the wind's blowing towards the East, away from the West, but they're still thinking like, I still want to take benefit of what these guys are building up and have set up. It's because why, everyone's drunken, and that's why you're gonna have everyone lamentating after America gets hit, man. Not 1 hour when it gets hit, laced with fire and taken down. Then all these different, all these traders, these merchants, guys that are making merchandise off America, are gonna lament, unless they're all drawn in, they're all bound in that system. Because what, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed? And that's a big part of what people are kind of trying to do now. They think everyone has, and the thing is, it's been evident from the 70s that the Spirit has been coming off the West. The America chiefly, that Spirit's been coming off him. But people are still, enamored. They're still drawn in. They're still infatuated. And they still have hope. They think it can go back to the times when, America was in its might, man. Like the 50s, post-war period, or the 20s as well. Also a post-war period, actually. Because that's when, America was insurmountable. But it says, what, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. And yeah, so we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. And that's going to be the reality of it. Because why? Because these alliances are moving away from them. And the Spirit's been taken off them to have that same, insurmountable, unchallengeable mindset. That's how a lot of people are looking at it. But then now you see it in reality, and it's like, okay, what, were they, were they just mortal men all along? And that's the reality. There was that time when Americans were viewed as like some kind of holy land, some kind of blessed land. It was like, yo, they were just doing things on a whole different scale, and some people still view them to that extent. But that whole spirit, it's been done away with, man. And people that go there as well, it's been demystified. Yeah, they see it like, oh, it's just it's fucked. We go there, there's potholes, there's crack holes, their diet's terrible. Uh, you know, there's all kinds of functions of how they live, where they're fucking living in with problems that other countries are solving. They're thinking like, what's wrong with these guys? This is why that spirit got taken off it. So Habakkuk 2:5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. Yeah, he's a proud man, he transgresseth by wine, and neither keepeth at home. And that's all on how, America established itself. Esau's power structures establish themselves when going out, conquering, establishing himself, gathering all the resources and even the peoples unto himself. He says what? But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunt him proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Yeah. Everyone's basically taking, those words against him, thinking like, yo, how did you get all this? How did you establish yourself? And that's the truth. Where America was elevated, it was like, what was elevated the back of? What was elevated off the back of? To the back of what? Slavery, rape, robbery, theft, going around, colonizing, amassing resources onto itself that belong to other people, taking land that belonged to other people, and then building themselves up off the back of all that to where they had, a great amount of might, and then using that to amass more, and then maintain it over time. It says, what? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. And yet that violence is the undercurrent that's really been there from when Esau's taken over. That's how he's achieved and gained everything by violence. That's why you have people that, trying to emulate him, they'll follow in the same stead. They'll kind of, enact his systems. And they'll use that force of the sword, man. That's a big part of how things are maintained. They'll get their militaries up and whatnot, and then put faith in that, and then they'll think, they'll see the way Esau's set himself up with his democracy and whatnot, parliamentary systems, etc. And they'll establish those things, emulating it, thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, this is right, this is just, because they want what they see that he's received those rewards in his lifestyle and his kingdom. They don't know everything else that comes of it. And anyway, the end result of linking in arms, holding hands with Esau, receiving part of his judgment, man. Nahum 3:4, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favoured harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, the Lord of hosts, the Lord Jehovah of hosts, saith the Lord Jehovah of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And yeah, all the reality of how all this greatness, honor, and glory in the Western world was built has been shown to where it's just like, oh wait, no, they were just, the thief cometh not for to kill and to steal and to destroy. That was, what's been revealed. And then now, after having done that, is pretending like, oh no, but we're beyond that stage now. There doesn't need to be any recompense. It's like, look, mistakes were made, but everyone's dead. They all died. Even though there's people where these things are still in living memory. But it's like, everyone's dead. So, there don't need to be no reparations, there don't need to be no corrections or whatnot. Just, look, you're free now. Your rights. Be happy. But, it comes down to what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem HaKadosh desires. Which is why that skirt's being lifted up. And then all the truths come out. It says, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee foul, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Yeah? So it's basically been made a spectacle before all the nations to know, hold on. Maybe this place was a fucking heap of shit the whole time. Which, that's what it is. That's why they're now looking to, alliances with different nations. There's a big aspect of it as well is the, what's it called? The management of the media. Because that's something like, I always mention it as well with, like, through the 2000s, it was the Iraq War, where things were coming out on that. And that was when the internet was still it wasn't as easy to get information out on it as it is now. But it's like now, it's like the way that all the information's been put out there, it's like you'll find out like all kind of fucked up shit was going down. Any conflict zone now, everyone's got a smartphone with a camera, and then they can just record some shit, upload that footage, and you're just like, damn, all kinds of. It's like you're thinking like, hold on, all these different conflicts I was hearing about through the 80s, the 90s, whatever. You're like, damn, what the fuck was going on? All kinds of fuckery was going on, and that truth's coming out, man. Let me read this. Isaiah 14:15 says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee. It's talking about, Esau after he's taken out. When he's brought down, to the level of a man again, where he's exalted himself now. It says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners? And yeah, that's just really the mindset everyone's gonna have, because all these nations now looking at Esau like he's God on earth. He's really got that where everyone's thinking like, yo, his image is a true image of beauty, and then his image is the image of power as well, dominance, control. But all that's going to be found to be an imitation, man, a falsehood. And really, he's basically a man that brought death, destruction, and confusion upon earth, and then utilized it all to make himself seem great. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.